How's it going, everybody? With me, it's been cold today. I acquired taste. How you doing? Hey, is the video and the sound okay? Everything working all right? Hi, Brian. How you doing? Good to see you. Great. Everything's working. Hi, Mark. Hey, Mark. Or Mark and Mark. Oh, I'm glad everything's working. God, I tell you, I just went outside to get the mail, and I had these little metal slip-on, caution signs that I had, and they were blowing down, and it was so cold. I tried to pick them up and take them back, and I couldn't do it, and so I got the mail and had to put the envelopes around them. My God, it's warmed up. That's the thing, but tomorrow's supposed to be really nice again. I shouldn't be complaining about it so much. It is winter, but this is crazy. It's really cold. But anyway, everything's working. The thing I was worried about was that there's been a lot of tree branches and things like that and other places that have been breaking and messing everything up. It's up to a toasty 16. that's that's up from -7. Hi, Michael. How you doing? Um, let me let me talk about what I wanted to talk about this afternoon and get some stuff from you guys. Hi, Eric. How you doing? I think we're having Swedish weather right now. It's cold. It's 51 where you are. Yeah, well, it's really funny. Next week, that's what it's going to be. Hi, Jonathan. Mark. Oh yeah, you're out in Wait, you're in California or Washington, Mark? Or one of the two, something like that. Um, Hi, JJ. It's too cold to get out of bed. Yeah. Oh boy. We've been sticking inside. Yeah, I knew it was one of them. It's 60 degrees. Mark, yeah, I understand, Mark. You guys are 60 degrees, but you're also 6 feet underwater under a mudslide. No, I hope you guys are fine. Um, okay, let me tell you sort of what got me started. This morning, as you know, we were talking about sort of brands and elements of watches that we just wouldn't get. And today, this afternoon, I thought, well, let's talk about some single feature in a watch that, because it was, um, because it's there, you'd want to get it. Let me give you some examples. I have on, like I did this morning, this watch is a Van Cleef and Arpels. But the reason that I got it and really love it is because the movement was done by Jean-Marc Viderec. And so it became, this was something, the entire movement, just not just a little part of it. Some years ago, I got a Harry Winston by retrograde. And again, the by retrogrades were both also by Jean-Marc Viderec. And so it's little things like that. If there's something in it that I really like by some major watchmaker, that can be one thing. My Chaumet Dandy Arty, what do they call it? Open face. That has two gears that are the Agonese gears, and again, that's the reason I got that. And it turned out to be a much cooler watch than I realized. I love that watch. But each one of those watches, uh, like that, two of them have elements in it, and two of them, my other one, the one that we had made, this thing is just, this has been a joy to wear and have. It's a It's a super special watch. So, those are things that I like. And so I thought, well, what are things that you guys like? Um, oh, you had 7 degrees last week too. Nastovia Comrade. Hi, Truman. Maybe I can jump in here. I had absolutely no intention of acquiring my most recent watch, an Armstrong. Oh, wow. Wow, wow. Yes, I like that. And you had the one with resonance. Yes, the physics behind that. That's exactly the same reason I got my resonance. The whole thing. I tell you something that's fun to do, Michael. There, you can find these on YouTube. Take a look for resonance experiments. Now, most of these are done with pendulums, but some of the cool things that happen with resonance. What I had done, and I've got a real old video I did. I took these two pieces of string and I had two heavy bolts, and I pulled one of them out and let it start, and then I started the other one, so they were going like this. But pretty soon they came up and they started going together, and it was just the coolest thing. Hi, Mark. You should kids relocate. That's my California family goes way back into the 1800s, up near where you are, Mark. I happened to be in for a business trip, and a boutique happened to have one in inventory. I didn't expect it, but I walked out with it. You know, that's a story that I give my wife. I had nothing to do with it. I was walking by it. It jumped me. Right now, there are two watches that I'm keeping an eye on, and trouble is that I like them both, and I don't know which one to get. We'll see what happens. I've got to wait. Sort of let fate pull it up somehow. I'm allergic to sudden, unexpected ground tremors. It's a good thing you're not in Oklahoma. All the fracking they've done there make it jumping. Yeah, crazy things do happen to watch aficionados. That's what makes it fun. I mean, there's all kinds of there seems to be an endless stream of discoveries, and then something comes along you didn't expect, and boom, you have something else that's cool. Um, Trying to think what are some other. Oh, another thing too is I sort of mentioned it. There's if you find a watch with a certain watchmaker who's been involved in the watch, that's something else that's good. There's this one by Chanel, Chanel Monsieur. It's called, and the name of the movement I think is called. It's either called Caliber One or Chanel One, and the what's his name? Gautier was involved in it, and so I thought, wow, that's sort of cool. And there's this other watch. This is funny. Years and years ago, back in 2016, I went to get. I had my. I guess it was called OS1, the overseas one, Vacheron Content 10, and I want in 2016. They had a new one coming out, so I went to New York, went to the boutique, and I wanted to get one of those. Now, the reason I wanted to get it was more because the people involved in making it, and I had read all about them. And at the time, I think the Hour Lounge was still doing all kinds of great stuff, which was sponsored by Vacheron Content 10. And I went in, and they wouldn't take a trade in on my old overseas, and a bunch of other things happened. Then I saw this other watch with the same movement, tried it on. It looked better than what I went to get. So I went to think about it, and that's been what since it's been 6 years. Wait, it's been 6 years. See, 2016 for 7 years now. Whew. But those things, those kinds of things. Okay, let's see some more stuff. Michael, you got bitten by resonance, which is a good thing. What are some other things that have got you? Um, I told my spouse I was going to look. Yeah, that's what I say too. It was, I First, I go to the watch store, then I go over to Tiffany's and get a little. You'd be surprised how a little blue box can distract someone from like, "What did you get?" "Oh, I got you this." Hi, JJ. I want a bag. That's yeah. We got. Yes, Lee. Right before you got here, I was talking about the quakes they had in Frackin' Gulch. Low beat manual wine. Yes, 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 yes. Those, I tell you, one of these days I may just whistle up Joe Mushop and say, send me a Tissot. What are they called? A Tissot Heritage Petite Seconde with yeah, there's like 300 and something bucks, but they have that 18 18,000 semi oscillations per hour. What are they called? They're now ETA, but oh, what are they? What are the first parts? They're called. Forgot the name of the first part, but basically they're this great movement. The 97 and 98, 64, 98, and 64, 97. Great watches. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, you got to be careful. They'll jump you every time. I was looking at this watch in this one place I was tempted by, and it was a shop on 47th Street in New York, which is I've got my best watches there. This is a place that Federico said, "Don't go there; they'll get you." And if you got to know what you're doing. But man, I tell you that place is the Diamond District in New York, right off of. If you're ever in New York City and you want to go watch shopping, uh, I don't, check it out. It just really they got some amazing places there. They've got all these guys standing around outside on the streets, and you think they're just people hanging out. They're not. If you don't, I don't think there is a robber in New York who doesn't know about 47th Street, between Fifth Avenue and Sixth Avenue. That's just the last place on earth you want to try to rob. But these guys are just standing around like, they look like they're loitering, but they're not. If you go in there and there's some stores and stuff, the thing to do is before you go there is to find it online and then see what you can do once you get there. One of the problems, I guess, New York City taxes is like 8.5% because there's a state tax of state sales tax, but there's also a city tax on top of that. So it's about 8.5%, whereas here in Connecticut it's just over 6. Hi, Ivan. Perpetual calendar. All other really don't feature in daily life. A perpetual calendar. I've always been tempted by a perpetual calendar. The one that I really like is the one that H. Moser has, and the reason I like it, it's easy to reset. Um, I just can't imagine a perpetual calendar having to figure out, for but this, for 21,000 years or however long the thing works, you can just open it up and fix it. But I don't know. For some reason, somebody was in one of the comments today about on videos, they said they don't like calendars, sort of messes things up, and I sort of agree with that. Um, this watch, most of my watches don't have calendars. I don't have anything against them. One of my very favorite watches, my Urban Jurgensen, has a calendar in it, and some of my other ones do too. But it's just sort of a pesty thing to figure out. That's all. I rarely use it. I have a Dilbert calendar over here that I use. But yeah, perpetual calendar would certainly be one. It's a good example, Ivan. Things last much longer at a slow stroll. That's true. That's very true. Heritage Petite Seconde. That's the one. That is the Tissot that one of these days, I think I'll just grab it and think, then wind it up and play with it. I'm trying to think. The name of the movement is it's something dash ETA 6498, and I'm trying to think what the first part was. Something. I can't remember what it is. Hi, Georgian. How you doing? I saw some years ago, you had, Parallel as standard horology with all of their in-house movement. Did Parallel move up? Yeah, it must have. I get Parallel was sort of a funny one. When this is what bothers me about a lot of these watch companies, they make it vague enough. Sometimes they're using somebody else's movement, and it's a cheap one or inexpensive, even though it can be a good one that's inexpensive. They won't tell you what it is, and I think Parallel was somewhat like that. Um, but the big thing is that if you have a Parallel and you really like it and it does all kinds of good things, let us know, because there's I've heard exactly the opposite sides of the same watch. Somebody will have the same watch, one person will love it and one person will hate it. I that happens, but I'd rather hear it from somebody who uses it all the time and find out about it. Brian, that's right. It was you. Yeah, you need a CTA 6498. Hey, Eli, how you doing? Yeah. Yeah, this I was in Finland a few years ago, and there was this sort of open air place down by the dock, not where the ship came in, but another dock they had there, and they had all of these little places, and they had a lot of things by I in the older term was for people who were sort of like native Scandinavians was what they used to call them. Anyway, well, there's sort of like a tribal name is Sami, Sami, and I was looking at some stuff they had in the same way here because the Native American Indians, same kind of things that they have some really interesting stuff that they do. So my hat is from that group. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, the Finns are great people. Um, when we were there, they were having a big celebration of something, and they were just, there's certain groups that have a different style. Americans are often thought of as a little too bubbly, and but for Americans, that's what we are. We're that way. Other people are too straight laced. Others are, yeah. Everyone's got their own personality. Um, Mark, a gold. Yeah, who has movements made of gold? Hi, Tim. Yeah, Eli, I, I'm I like a heritage design too. There was something I read. Somebody was there different kinds of homage, put it that way. Some are like the red and blue bezel on a Rolex is copied by all of these other brands, and that's not so much the kind of heritage. And I was we got there was a heritage Urban Jurgensen that was pretty much, I think the movement was at least was by Derek Pratt. And when we were choosing the hands for our Etude number one, that was the sort of the heritage we looked at. And there's something um, the Patek Philippe pilot watch. I forgot the name. Let me see. It's actually was originally called the Calatrava pilot's watch, and that has a very much of a pilot heritage. I think Zenith, uh, what's it called? The extra special. A lot of people were giving them a hard time. You call it an extra special. The reason for that was I think that it was a pilot watch made in 1936 by IWC was called Special. And so Zen has picked up on it called theirs Extra Special. But it has that style with those big letters and stuff and usually a big crown. It was the big crown is for back in the open cockpit days where these guys had to wear these big heavy gloves. I don't know how they flew in that conditions. I mean, it's we had a nice heater in our airplane. Okay, let's see. Powermatic 80. I like the Powermatic 80. In fact, I like it a lot. That's another one they slowed down to 3 hertz, and they did it to add more charge to it. A power reserve was longer, and that was for. But I like that movement. Now they have 2 or 3 different kinds. One of them is a COSC on the Powermatic 80. One is with silicon, and then one of them is not a silicon hairspring in it, and that's the one I like the best. I am curious, what do folks think of De Bethune? The quality is amazing, but I'm really struggling with the design ethos. Yeah, I know what you mean by that, Michael. I really like the watch. I like it a whole lot. Um, there was one that I saw. Now, I think it may have been a two-sided De Bethune, and that one side I really liked, and the other one's got this forky looking thing in it. I think that may be the thing that is off-putting for some people. Uh, I like to think of it as a brigade meets science fiction Star Trek. That's what their design language and materially clicked to my mind. Yeah, that's sort of, you could take the badge off of the Star Trek characters and that would be on the front of it. No faux patina here. Yeah, that is a nice one. Trying to think. Another watch I really like, and it has more to do with the maker. This is Christian Vanderclaw, and it's called what is it called? It's something like True Moon, but it's I think they have a 3D little moon that spins in it or something like that. But it's a again, anything by Christian Vanderclaw I really like, but he retired, but he left a lot of the movements and stuff that he developed. A couple of years ago, he did one for I think it was Van Cleef and Arpels, my folks, and they won a Grand Prix with it because it was a like a whole universe that they did. Really an amazing watch. But he retired some time ago from active watchmaking. But then every now and then he'd do a special project for someone. Hi, Curtis. How you doing? To follow on Mike's questions about De Bethune, I like it. I like there isn't one thing that would make me buy a watch, but the one thing that would keep me from buying a watch is the overall design. Yeah, that's I. Uh, design is design is so much a matter of taste. I There have been designs that I couldn't stand, but after a while it grew on me and to the point where I really, really liked it. That happens. Other ones goes the other way. I didn't like it. And the more I look at it, the less I like it. But design, I guess, is something that's important to a lot of people. You know, I talk to Rolex people, are just seem a lot of them anyway, seem to be down on the Yacht Master too, and I love that watch. Even though I'm not by anybody's stretch of the imagination a Rolex fanboy, but that thing, the movement, the what they have something for starting a yacht race, and it's a countdown mechanism, and the one in that one is really very, very much a wonderful thing. Now, if you're not into yacht racing and some things like that, it may not mean anything. But if you're into watches, you've got a watch there with really in a very, very good mechanism. And that's the thing about Rolex. I think the way I see Rolex watchmakers and designers is one that they're champing at the bit, but they can't do very much because Rolex likes to have something that's going to sell a lot and sort of reliable, and they got waiting lists to prove that. So I don't think that. But then the designer's like, oh, you can't do anything, mess up because it's already working. And then they say, well, we do it by little bitty increments. Okay, let's see what else you got here. Hi, Embry. Legibility. I don't understand watches with small dials, Breguet, unless it is to show movement. Oh, I know what you mean by that. It depends on the dial to me. I know what you mean by having small dials. Usually it's sort of like the main dial is treated like a sub dial. I have some watches. I have my Beauvais 1930, yeah, Fleurier has a relatively small dial, and then below it, it's got a second-hand dial. That watch, it is a smaller dial, but I don't have a problem reading it. Big crowded dials, I think, are more of a problem for me. You want to be able to look at your watch and just say, okay, that's what it is. This is what I like about the one we did. You look at that and boom, you can see in 2 seconds exactly what that is. Regatta timer. Yeah, Eli, that's exactly what it is. It's a regatta countdown. The one that won the sports award for that was Ulysse Nardine Regatta. That watch, I tell you, if you haven't seen it, the video that goes with the Ulysse Nardine Regatta has got to be the best watch video ever. Love that video. And I think that's why it won. Let's see. Hi, Rich. Let's stay warm. No kidding. I love the Y2. Oh, good. Yay. We got some. I was went in for a procedure that you have to get every so often. And there was this I think the anesthesiologist had on uh, a yacht master, and I thought, oh wow! I said, well, that's a cool one. Maybe once I went under, and give me a little extra pump of that. You get you. Why are so many against Roman numerals? I love Roman numerals. There are a lot of people who don't like them. I like them on some watches. To me, they're more of for a formal watch. I did the recent video I did on the Chopard 1937. That one has Roman numerals, and they look right for that watch. Any kind of font, I think, sort of the context of its use, but I can take or leave Roman numerals. One of the ones I like on the Dufour Simplicity 37 that has these really nice Roman numerals on it. Hi, Tiber, how you doing? Powell, how are you? The quality of a back case is very important to me. A well-made visible side of a watch usually means that the whole watch is well made. That's a good point. Um, if if a watch is willing to show you what's inside, what's in the back of it, I think it's an improvement. Let me show you an example. That's the back of our Etude number one. And the for those very reasons, well, we wanted to see the movement. The only thing I wish on our watch, I wish they had cut away more so you could see more of it. That they had you have to use certain plates and bridges depending on the design of the movement. Hi, Tulski. What do you think of Raymond Weil? Raymond Weil, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was either Raymond Weil or Rado who they didn't plan to, they don't claim to make their own movements. They tended to use, I think they're probably using Solita movements right now. So design wise, they're very, they have some great designs to them. I had a Raymond Weil for a long time, and it had an automatic in it, and I opened it up, and it was one of the most common ETAs there was. But those things were, like an old Timex, they're almost bulletproof. What do I think of the Balloon Blue 18 karat gold watch? Tibor. Yeah, I like the design of it. Here's the thing about the Cartier Balloon Blue. They have so many different versions in it. One of the older ones, I think, has got an ETA in it. The newer ones have one of the newer Cartier movements. Some of them have quartz movements. I like the looks of it, and they're very popular. One of the things that sort of shot the Balloon Blue to the moon in terms of popularity, especially among women, was that the Duchess of Cambridge had one on, and I tell you, I was at the Cartier store in New York, and I asked them about that. Man, they knew that. Boom! I said, "Oh, by the way, do you know that the Duchess of Cambridge had one?" Oh, yeah, yeah, we knew all about that. But it's a nice watch. I like the looks of it. Yeah, hand engraving on the balance cock looks really nice. That's or any kind of actually, yeah, we've been debating on whether having hand turned or CD turned on a Guy Shay, and the difference price wise is huge. But the looks, I don't think the looks is that different, really, to tell you the truth. We'll find out. Time check. Oh, Eric, is my time up? Yep, I gotta run. Anyway, guys, hey, listen, thank you for coming. I talked a lot, and anyway, so I hope to see you next week. In the meantime, stay safe, stay dry, and stay cool, or stay warm, actually.